What is up? Welcome back to the SuperCoach Experience podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Savage, the coach of the Savage Turbos. We are back for a team reveal for the Masked Wolf 2.0. You came on earlier in the year, did a team reveal very early into the preseason. And to say it quite lightly, you kind of got roasted.
Let them roast. Or maybe they got baited.
Did they get baited? You think you have
it's completely different. Completely different now.
How are you doing? How has the off-season been for you?
I'm good. Just been watching a lot of the trials, looking at a lot of the price points for a lot of the players and watching a lot of SuperCoach videos. So yeah, I've been gathering a lot of information, and I've tried, I guess, to be as less risky as possible with my team. But I think, I'm not going to spoil anything, but yeah, I'm very happy with where it is at the moment. I feel like I have gone a bit heavier into CTW than maybe some other people are. I think there's a lot of like CTWs where it's 400 to 500K, your Skeltons, your Deweys, your Jack Howarths, that maybe a few of them are going to be a bit of a trap and not have as like much upside as maybe what people are thinking. So I've tried to like steer away from that a bit and go a bit more heavier. But yeah, I'm very happy with my side. I have a plan in place, which I think is very important if things do backfire in any of the roles. And then we go from there.
Yeah, sweet. So you came on earlier in the season, and I feel like you were, I don't know if you've always been like this, but you've been very active in all our chats. You've been very getting amongst it. So I feel like you've been taking in a lot of information and trying to dish it out as well. Sometimes you get a bit excited and you try to tell people how it is sometimes. So if you are part of the Patreon, you might get a bit of a Masked Wolf roasting sometimes. But let's
just a bit of banter. Just a bit of banter.
Just a little bit of banter. There's a few guys that go back and forth with you pretty often. So let's go to your side. Let's get it up right now. All right. So you've started with Phoenix Crossland and Sandon Smith. Correct me if I'm wrong. You were with Reed Marnie early in the preseason, and it's kind of been an ongoing joke.
Yeah. It is what it is. Hey, not a bad pick, but I just think with Flex, I want to put my dollars somewhere else. I will say this, there's mostly like 2 spots that I'm going to be looking at changing based on the team list, because we are recording this on the Thursday prior to the first 2 games on the Sunday. And that would be, I'm really, really looking closely at JMK from the Dolphins. I really just want to see, I think it's Donahue, if he's named on the bench. Because if he isn't, I'm very, very likely to just change one position, which would be a center wing, and get the extra cash. I still have 80,000 in salary left, so it won't be too much of a grab, and start with JMK, because I really do want a hooker that is, I don't want 2 hookers that I'm concerned about roles and also a bit of points. I think Sandon Smith, everyone's going to have him, but also I just think there's going to be some games where we're like, how did Sandon Smith get 18? You know? And I don't want to say that's definitely going to happen. It's just a very big possibility, because the Roosters, as you can see from the trials, they have a lot of openings and gaps where if the opponents are attacking a lot, they're not really doing much besides tackling. So, that's just where I'm sitting at the moment. I spoke to you personally on the speed dial, Batmobile, that, Brayley, I'm really curious because of the contract and them basically saying, hey, we don't want you. I think it's next season. Are they actually going to even bother at some point? Really, maybe Knights go to a horrible start. Brayley's not doing well, not doing anything off the bench, and they're just like, you know what, just go to the reserves, go to play here, and Crossland gets more minutes, or just Crossland is the go-to guy. I don't expect that. I expect Knights to be a bit better, but yeah, that's where I'm sitting at the moment, because I'm not too heavy in the salary.
I'll tell you what I do like about it, though. Brayley will probably start on the bench if Phoenix Crossland does start, but they're so short for middles that if that's the case, Phoenix Crossland did shift into the middle towards the end of the trial on the weekend. So I like that he probably will play big minutes regardless. And I'm not sure if you got Tom Duffy in your halfback or not, but if Tom Duffy does not get named, I feel like them two are quite a good pairing to have Sandon and Crossland if you shift one of them down to halfback. So kind of locking yourself into Crossland early, I think it provides a lot of options later down the track. But there's so many hookers at that price. It's just which one do we go with? And I think we'll be more clear on it next week. And obviously this week there's Tom Starling. You're not interested in him or on Paddy?
No, because in one round, Tom Starling could just be on the bench, and Owen Paddy could just be taking his spot with Ricky Stewart. Ricky just pulls the gun very quickly, whereas with Crossland, I feel like, especially because of the Brayley being told we don't need you, just makes Crossland feel better. He looked better in the trials, in my opinion. He looks super active, which is what I like to see. Although they did just dominate and pretty under par team, it's still. The morale is there, I feel like, for the Knights. Like they have a bit of momentum. They've got a full strength side, basically. If not, I think it is just full strength. There's no injuries, right? So yeah, it's looking good. I think just for someone who's not going to lose you money, might gain you. He might go 45, 50. You just don't know. He just needs one attacking stat and he's there.
Yeah, sweet. All right, let's move on from the hookers. By the way, you're talking about Newcastle, though. I expect to see Fletcher Sharp in your centre wing. That's how high you're talking about them. All right, let's go to your front. Let's go to your front.
I also think if they don't perform this season, Ponga's gone. So there's a lot riding on it.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I agree.
So, yeah. But yeah, very, very, I think FRF is just going to be a very staple FRF. I don't want to talk about this too much because I think a lot of people are going to have at least 3 of these 4 players. May, Horsburgh, Clark. I'm really big on Hess. I'm really shocked at the ownership. Last time I looked, I think it was yesterday, it was 6%. I'm really confused by it. But I mean, this is someone who I think could easily go to 500, 600,000 in my opinion.
Yeah, it was very quiet in the first trial, but had 29 tackles. And if that's quiet in one half of footy, then I'll take that every day of the week for a 327K front rower. I like the balance of this front row. Aaron Clark, obviously playing this weekend. Are you locking him in? Like, is he 100% locked in for you?
He's locked in for me. I think, look, I said also in our chat, I'm very confused by TMM not being named, but I do think Warriors are a team that are going to have some very kind of close games where it's going to be very sort of a lot of tackles being made and he's going to do work on attack. Warriors have always been a team where they do make opportunities and have opportunities in the opponent's 20. And sometimes they just were never, or a lot of times they was never an 80-minute team. They were kind of 50 and they fell off. But I think with the Tohu Harris and the departures of their players, basically he just fits the mold. And again, the one thing I want to harp on is I'm basically picking players I know that aren't in sort of scrutiny of just leaving the team randomly.
Yep.
So that's what I'm going with.
While we are on the front rowers and you were talking about the Warriors and Aaron Clark, we are live on YouTube. AFB or Barnett, so torn, says BA. What are your thoughts on either of them?
Oh, we're live. What's up? Read money for the hookers, baby. AFB or Barnett? What is the price difference?
AFB is the most expensive player in the game, and I think Barnett is just behind him. Hold on, let me get the.
I think Barnett is in the 6s, right? 660 or something.
Something like that. Just give me a second.
I would honestly most probably lean into Barnett here. I think AFB is a better player in a sense of his attacking stats, but if you actually look at the Warriors draw, and I've spoken about this before, it's actually not that bad. And I think when they always play at home, They just seem to be a much, much better team. Barnett has also, snagged a few tries that I've seen. Very similar to AFB, can do the crash play, can be very good. And I actually just like him as a player. He's a very, very hardworking player. I actually think he's much more fitter than AFB, in my opinion. Every time I've watched him, I've just been super impressed. And I think he's on the uprise. I think he's actually going to be a very big staple FRF where you're just like, in general, rugby league, he's someone who's mentioned as being like the top 5, top 7. So I would personally go Barnett. I think he has Jewel as well.
He does have Jewel. They are only 45K difference.
I'd go Barnett, to be honest with you. And I think that 45K can actually help a lot somewhere else. And especially because Sharks are versing Penrith first in Vegas. You don't know what's going to happen. And Sharks are notorious for running quite a lot of forwards. So you could see a spell for AFB at any moment, especially if Sharks are winning by a lot of points. And I think that's what could happen as well. You could see a game where Sharks are winning 36-10, and all of a sudden at the 55th minute, they're like, let's just rest AFB, or the 60th minute, or whatever it may be. Whereas Warriors are more emotionally likely to have closer games or just battling out games.
Yeah, sweet. All right, let's move on to your second row. Everyone roasted you for your second row last time. You went very cheap, so I'm interested to see your makeup here. Lads, if you are in the live chat, we will answer the questions after he's gone through the team reveal, because Harry loves to talk. And
I like giving explanations to the picks.
Yeah. We'll get through the teams first, and then we'll definitely answer some questions straight after.
I'm happy to answer everything for you guys.
So
here's my 2RF. A lot more different.
This is way better. This is way better.
Yes,
all right. So you're starting second row: Jacob Preston, Alex Seyfarth, Kuli Kefiu, Fini Fuiaki. On your bench, Kobe Hetherington, Dimitri Valmega, and Charlie Geimer. Talk me through why you've gone a bit heavier in the second row compared to last time with Preston, Seyfarth, and Fini Fuiaki.
Well, I don't think the one thing I always like in 2RFs is like a solid base and not so much reliance on attacking stats. I know like a lot of people in our chats have been talking about Ola Kuatu, and he is a great player. Manly have a great draw. But a lot of the times, like I don't want to be too risky with it. If you look at his points, and I think he has 22 matches, about 1,200 points in total. And a lot of them were attacking stats, which can be a good thing, but also a very bad thing when there's games where they just don't play well, or he doesn't get the ball, or is having an off night. And I think Preston is undervalued a bit. I'm not saying he's going to go to 700,000 or anything, but I do think there's a bit of money to be made from him. Also, the current 1 round out is only going to make him emotionally have a bit more ball in some way. And I was listening to another podcast where he came out and basically said, I played crap last season. I need to be better, where he had quite a reasonable season. So I like hearing that. It's kind of like when you're a top tier in your realm or your industry, and you're like, no, I need to be better. I need to be someone that's doing more things for the team. So I just liked hearing that, to be honest with you. He's a bit of a gun workhorse. He does have like Ruben Cotter vibes to him, in my opinion. He's just always in the thick of it. So yeah, I'm just going with Preston. I feel like it's a very safe pick, and he's just going to get me the points I need just to make the total points at the end of the round feel safe. Seyfarth, bit of a gamble in a way, but I mean, I just feel like if he was like 490, 500,000, I wouldn't go there. But I think 435 is like a nice spot where I think when he's playing 80, he's going to make you money here. Especially with West Tigers opening like draw. I just think there is a lot of value for Seyfarth. I don't think he's going to be someone that you're keeping in your team throughout the whole season. You're looking to get him to about maybe 550, 600,000 and try and move into the Olakuatu or whoever it may be. But yeah, I think just West Tigers, they've got a lot to prove this season with all the signings. And I can't remember his name. Someone left the team for West Tigers, which gives him a bit more of role opportunity.
Shots brought it up. Thoughts on John Batman?
Yes,
Bateman.
Bateman. That's right. Who went to the Cowboys, who hasn't been doing amazing things there yet. So I really just think he's a very safe pick. Mostly one of my bigger risks in this is Finafuiaki. I just really, really am big on the Dolphins draw opening. Not to say that they're going to win every game, but I just think a lot of points are going to be scored. When you're looking at the Dolphins in the trial, they're just a very big attacking team. And Finafuiaki, when he was at Cowboys, he's just someone that can really get some good attacking stats. And I think 368 is a really good price for him. Like I won't be surprised, honestly, if he gets like a 50 to 60 in the first round. And I think the problem is with Finafuiaki, a lot of people, he might actually do very well, and then people trade in for him, and then he kind of goes a bit stale. So I'm just banking on him in the first 3 rounds, making me some money, and then trying to move him on. So that's my play with him. Hetherington, I just feel like, again, his role is pretty much locked into the Broncos. I really like that. Although he's like not a huge like attacking outside, he's just going to plug in. Madge loves him apparently. He's just going to be someone that's going to make me 50 to 100K, hopefully. Again, a bit of a money grab and another safe pick. The only person here that I'm really kind of worried about is it Morga? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, Dimitri Valmega.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a look at this game coming with the Raiders, how much minutes he gets, how impactful he gets. But the reason he's in here is because he's 232,000. That's the same with Charlie Geimer.
Yeah, I've got I feel like we're going to get a 232 guy like Jack Gazowski or Kitione Katonga, who I'm really keen on for the Parramatta Eels. Are you kind of you're not going to wait to see if any of them are picked, because Valmega could be a really risky one coming off the bench?
I don't like the Eels draw opening, especially if Moses doesn't get named. That scares me a bit because there's been talk about him in round 1 having a bit of a niggle on the ankle, I think it is.
That ain't cool.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like the only reason I like this is for the Warriors is again because of who has left their team and the openings that has come up from that. Dylan Walker doesn't help, but like I just think there's not a lot to worry about when he's 232,000 and you can see that he's already playing. For me, I'm not going like RTS or Tuapiki in the centers, so I'm not overplaying Warriors. But yeah, I mean, I think there's another guy who is it from the Dragons? Is it Tonga? He's like 192,000.
Pacifica Tonga.
Yeah, I think it's that guy. My other play is to obviously take Malga out, drop Clark or Hess into the 2RF, and then just bring him in. So that's going to generate me more money. I'll have 150 or something in the bank. But again, I'm a bit of a worry as well because Eels are such a forward-reliant team. But I swear, man, every time I watch the Eels, someone goes down in the forwards. There's just something that happens where there's like an opening for this guy that's on the bench, and that could be Geimer. I just really like him. I've heard a lot of good things about him, and I think he could make some serious money. I actually don't know, but what is his ownership, Geimer?
I'm not sure, but Geimer, I'll get it up for you. But Geimer actually played 2 games off the bench last year and still scored. Don't
say it.
37 and 43 in the first 2, in the first couple. So
good.
I really like him. I think he's I think he could come off the bench and still score 40s and might be better than some of these guys, especially Valmega as well.
Yeah. I mean, out of all these, Valmega is the guy that I'm happy to move out. Tuesday or TLTs will just give me that information and I can do whatever with it. But again, I would have to make that call before the game actually plays on Sunday. And I don't know whether I'm happy to do that or not. That's the only rough thing. And I was telling you how much I hate that because, you know, we have this guy here, but it's like, I don't know if I can wait to take a chance on others.
Yeah, 100%. We do have a question here that is relevant. shots, doesn't Plath and Connolly, Lemu, Elu eat into Finifuiaki's minutes? Are you worried about that at all with Lemu, Elu on the bench and Plath starting at second row?
Yes, but I also feel like Finifuiaki is just so much better on attack than them. He just has he can just be someone that rolls over an offense. He 100% right, especially with what's come out with Plath and then him saying I'm happy to play 80. That's a bit scary. But again, with what the Dolphins have on the draw side, if he can snag 60 minutes, get a try assist, get a try, something like that, you are going to make some really good money from him. And I think also there was a reason they brought him over. You know, there's a reason he came from Cowboys. They saw what he was offering at the Cowboys. When he was playing at the Cowboys, he wasn't playing bad. He was actually dominating. He was doing some really good things. And I was surprised he left. But I mean, these are the risks we have to take, right? And again, if he was a 420,000 or Safath price, I wouldn't go there. But I think 368, I'm pretty happy with just taking the risk on him.
It's a pretty good price. If you get 60 plus minutes, it's a win anyway. Let's move on to your halves. I think this is quite interesting. This one, you had double gun 5/8 the last time.
What if I told you Nathan Cleary and Hines isn't there?
I'm open to it.
Okay, good. Well, Cleary's there, so that's fine.
Oh, Cleary and Duffy.
Yeah, Cleary and Duffy.
It's the same combo as me. I'm not really going to harp on it, I guess, but Duffy looked good, didn't he?
Yeah, I actually thought about Hines over Cleary, but my theory was that let's say Panthers Sharks happens and Hines dominates and Cleary just plays awful and you kind of off it. When the trade comes down, at least I can trade down to Hines and then generate cash and still get the price like gain from what Hines will make. He could go from 700,000 to 800,000. And I'm like, cool, I've forced the trade, but at least I don't have to shift other things in my team to then get Cleary if I only had Hines, for example.
Yeah,
so that was my thought process there. Also, I just think Cleary's going to be just everything without Luai there now. Blaze Talagi not named. It's like it's just going to be going to him all the time rather than him having the opportunity to always go to Luai and actually Luai creating. So I think a lot falls more on the plate of Cleary. Obviously, I'm a bit worried about his injuries and stuff. He's been, when he's on, but, he can have periods where he's just super injured and it's annoying. But yeah, I have to start with Cleary.
Yep. All right, let's see your 5/8.
Yes, sir.
Metcalf and I've had this combo early in the year and I felt like I was a bit scared to pull the trigger. What are your thoughts on it? You saw enough from Dewey in the trials?
Dewey is only there because he's goal kicking. If he wasn't goal kicking, he wouldn't be here. But I think the fact that he is and West Tigers opening matches are so points friendly only makes me think he gets 5 to maybe 10 points upside, which I think is huge. He looked very fit and healthy in the games, in the trials, and I really like that. And the fact that he did get moved to the halves in the trials just shows how confident he is with his kicking, which is important because he's going to be the goal kicker for them. I just think there's a massive amount of upside. Obviously, there's risk because of his injuries, but I also didn't want to go too ham on the 5/8. I had Galvin in, and I was like, but really, how much can Galvin go up to? He's a superstar, but I think Galvin is someone who I'm going to work up to. I think he's going to be someone that we're talking about mid-season that you have to kind of get him, or maybe, round 5 to 8. But I'm very happy with not going overboard on the 5/8 at the moment.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's obviously not a real high upside position at the moment. And, I've got Dylan Brown in there at the moment. And the more and more I think about it, it is a contract year for him, which I'm expecting big things from him. But what is a big game for him compared to a big game for a big gun like Cleary, Hines? all these center wings who can go 130 plus. I know we saw Dylan Brown go 160 plus last year, but like that was so rare. It was a late in the season game where defense was just shot. So
yeah. Who are your 5'8s at the moment? Yours?
Metcalf and Brown at the moment.
Okay.
So I'm only spending 220K more at 5'8", but I'm also I could use that cash very wisely in other positions where I really want to upgrade. Like I want Dylan Lucas in my side still. And yeah, a couple of other options.
Would you rather Moses be in the team with Brown, or everything and Moses be out round one and everything falls onto Brown kind of thing?
I'd rather Moses be in this side because we saw last year that Dylan Brown kind of struggled, but it is a contract year for him, so I'm pretty happy to have him in there. Let's go to your center wings. You said your team layout is structured heavily towards some gun center wings and upside.
Yeah, I last time we did the reveal, I think I had Karaz. I haven't gone that high priced. I've still gone for value, but I think center wings is where we can also develop a bit of pod action, which is kind of what I've gone for in some of it in one pick. But yeah, I have, and this is also whoever asked a question about Finafiliaki. This is my backup for Finafiliaki. Also, I have front row forwards that can come into the 2RF as well. So if Finafiliaki doesn't perform or the minutes aren't there, I can easily go Lucas up to him. I can go Cohen Hess or Clark down and then get a center wing cheapie. That's my play. So Lucas is kind of like my jewel that is going to just make things feel a bit easier if I do need to shuffle things around. I still think Garrick is unders. My pod play is Hopoate. I just personally, him under 600,000 on a team that can score 40 points in an NRL game at home at Pines Park. We've seen it multiple times where they just absolutely go ballistic. The momentum is in their hands. He's also got fullback status. So if something does go wrong, Turbo gets injured. I don't want to say like my other fullbacks or fullback, but like that is there just to help that out as well. And yeah, I just really like Hopewadi, to be honest with you. And I'm scared of Warriors. I had RTS in my side a bit and I had Tuapiki in my side a bit. But after I saw TMM not named, which I'm just baffled by him not being in the team because he literally won them games last season. Yeah, I'm just very, very big on Hopewadi, and I think he can actually put up some pretty big numbers in the first few games at Pines Park.
So Ruben Garrick was the first person you told me about. The first person I saw with Garrick in the preseason, and when I saw you had him, I looked into him, and I was very keen on him. I've had him in my side ever since. Lucas is a great pick. Hopewadi is a gun pick, especially with the draw. I think if you got the balls to do it, then 100%. Your cheapies.
Oh, it's happening. It's happening.
Yeah. Your cheapies are pretty standard. Purdue, Toya, Finia, and Arthur's. You think Arthur's on the Ben Hunt side is massive for him?
I just think look at the first 3 games for Broncos and you can understand why Arthur's is in my team. I mean, I predict the Broncos will score in the first 3 games over 60 points in total with ease, maybe over 70. I think they have Roosters, Cowboys, and someone else. I don't know who round 2 is, but I just think it's a meal prep. So yeah.
A meal prep. Nice. Yep. All right. I'm interested to see your fullbacks. I think I might know who one of them is. Oh, actually, I might know who 2 of them are. 3 of them. I know who all of them are.
Yes, sir.
Yep. I like it. No Iongi. No Iongi. Walsh, Trebojevic, and Ponga. You've talked about how highly on the Broncos you are. It was actually a podcast me and you did early in the year where we're both locked in on Walsh. I think I went Ponga down to Walsh in that episode as well. So
you did, yeah.
And I haven't changed since. But Latrell's gone down since then, so it makes the pick a bit easier for both of us.
Yeah, I've thought about this a lot, and in a sense, this is kind of like going away from what the majority of people are doing because everyone's just going Iongi now because of the Mitchell injury. But what I really thought about was when we heard the news about the flex, everyone thought 3 fullbacks. They didn't think of 3 specific fullbacks. They just thought, I'm 100% going 3 fullbacks that are highly priced that are going to put me in a points difference compared to everyone putting a cheapie there. And look, Walsh may not be it, Ponga may not be it, but what I am doing is if something does go wrong, if one of these 3 get injured or maybe they all fire, at least I'm going to be way ahead of a majority of people. But if nothing happens, I just trade one down, go Iongi, I get his price rise, and I'm in the same position as everyone else. But essentially, I've just made a trade.
100%. We do have a question here that I think relates to this. Braden Barnes, you plan on bringing Iongi in before round 3 for a cash grab to get rid of an underperforming fullback. So I think this going the 3-gun fullbacks here is a good tactic to kind of use Iongi as like what's a word, like a safety net.
Yeah, correct. And I think there's like if I said to you, can you imagine a world where these 3 fullbacks after 3 rounds have netted you over 600, 700 points in total? There actually is a realm where they could do that. Like, I know it's crazy, maybe 500, let's say 500. But in the first week, like, yeah, just based off the draws these guys have, it's actually scary not to own one of them. Like Reece Walsh, what he could do against the Roosters, Cowboys, and I think is it South or Dragons? I don't know who it is. Second round, but it's just wild who they're versing, and I just think, yeah, I have to go with it. I have to go with my gut. That's one thing I wanted to do in fantasy. There's so much information that goes around, but yeah, I was like, I'm going with my gut. They versed the Raiders in second round, which is just wild.
But it's funny because last year the Las Vegas teams played each other. Like, so the Manly Seagulls played Rabbitohs at Las Vegas and the Roosters played the Broncos. In round 2, they kind of swapped their opposition. So Manly played the Roosters and then the Broncos played the Rabbitohs. This year, the Roosters actually played Canberra in round 2. So they're playing one of the teams that goes to Vegas. So they could be, the Broncos play Canberra. So a side like the Broncos, who are absolutely coming in hot to a side who could potentially be a little bit jet lagged still, or maybe they've beat each other up so much with blow up dolls that so yep. Sorry, that was meant to be a joke, and I just didn't know where I was going.
That's all right. It's fine. But also, if one of these goes wrong, this is my avenue to also go straight to Hines if I need to.
Yep.
Like if Duffy doesn't perform, one of these don't perform, easy swap, done. And then Hopewadi goes fullback, and then I get another cheap CDW.
Is there a world where you see yourself with Kalen Ponga has the bye in round 4? Say they're all scoring relatively okay. Their break evens are pretty normal. And like Kalen Ponga, I'm not sure what his draw is over the next couple of weeks.
I know what you're going to say to me. Is there a world where I could just go down to Iongi? 100%. But it would only be based off what Iongi's scores were. Like if he went 35, 60, 66, yes. If he went 25, 30, 22, no. So it would be simply based off what his output is.
So Ponga has the Titans in round 3. I guess if we're seeing how the Titans are going and whether defensively they're still no good. But then they do have the Bulldogs in round 5. So there's a world where if the Titans come out and look really good, that it could potentially be an option. But if the Titans come out and their defense is very similar to what it has been in the past, then it's going to be a really tricky decision because Kalen Ponga versus the Titans and then a bye and then the Bulldogs, it'd be very tempting to sell him against and gain a lot of cash. Otherwise, you can hold on to him for the Titans draw and hopefully that Iongi has had a poor first round and you can take the hit of Iongi's 50K price rise, hopefully. But
yeah, I've actually had a lot of Titans in my team in and out. I just can't go past. Like I've had Campbell in my team, I've had Kinney in my team, I've had Tino in my team. I just can't go past a round one bye, then versing a very good defensive team of the Bulldogs. Like it's just too scary for me. I like Brimson. I think he's very undervalued, like as in underpriced. I think he's 513K for memory. That is like outrageous. But I think there's a point where you can grab some Titans players and they can fly. I'm just very scared to do that at the start, especially with the draws we see with these fullbacks. So yeah.
There is a question, not a question, but Kinney is flying under the radar, says A2D2. You just spoke about Kinney.
Yep.
If he didn't have the round one bye and Bulldogs in round two, I reckon he'd be a lot more talked about this preseason.
Yeah, he would be in my team if that was the case. But I just can't go past a Bulldogs team that are really wanting to have a successful year and a round one bye. That's all. It is what it is with the schedule.
Awesome. I don't know if you've heard about Timmy and his black book. Have you heard about it?
No.
He's got like
who's Timmy?
Who's Timmy? The guy that does the podcast with me.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I don't know his black book. Yeah. No. Sorry. I thought you were talking about other Tim from the other podcast.
Yeah. No. Tim Moody on this podcast. He has like a green book. I call it the black book, and he always corrects me saying it's green. But he's got all these players in there, and most of them are the players he's got in his side. And he's got all these fringe players that he's thinking about getting in from each position. So I just want you to tell me a couple of players that you think are in your black book.
Of who I would be thinking of getting in, or like switching
like who's on the cusp of being in your side, but you're not quite doing it.
Definitely Mars U. I just can't go back there, but he's been like, just his price has been baiting me a bit. That's why I decided to not go JMK, go Crossland and get Lucas in, because Lucas's base is just far superior. And I trust Lucas a bit more. I mean, Marzu has hit me for some 25s and 30s that I just cannot get past in my life. It's like an ex-girlfriend that just haunts you forever, and you just, no matter what girl you end up with the next time, she's still there horning you in the back of your mind. Tino is another one, to be honest with you, because I did like how he looked in the trial when he was on. He actually looked he was throwing a couple of offloads. And of course, I will mention my one pod, Tuapiki. I think he is flying very much so under the radar. And if he does do well against Raiders and then they're playing at home, I'm going to kind of kick myself in the foot a bit. But yeah, RTS and Tuapiki were my two, to be honest with you, out of everything that had been in my team a lot.
Nice. Are you watching the games this weekend?
Of course, mate. I'm home. I've got my brand new 7-day-old kid. That's all I'm going to be doing.
Yes, congratulations.
Yeah.
Mini Wolf on the way. It's a good time to chill at home and watch footy. But I loved seeing your team. Want to answer some questions before we head off?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Awesome. So, Project Spartan, we're going back early. How many minutes do you think Clark would get? Dylan is on the bench. I think they've got a couple of edge forwards in Dimitri Valmega coming off the bench. I don't know. I kind of see him at the 50-minute mark.
Yeah. Oh, geez. I hope it's not less than that, right? I'm gonna say like 45 to 50. I'm gonna go for
50 is still pretty good.
Yeah, if he gets 50, you're gonna make money. So
100%.
Thoughts? I saw a question in your chat. Also, thoughts on Scott Drinkwater? That's a smoky.
Thoughts on Scott Drinkwater?
You see that?
I don't think there was a question saying that. Oh yeah, no, it's right. Down Under Sports. Thoughts on Scott Drinkwater? He looked electric in the trial. You're a Cowboys fan, aren't you?
I'm a Cowboys fan. Yeah. I think it's just a wait and see, isn't it? He's not goal kicking, right?
Yeah, he's not goal kicking with Duffy in the side.
if he was goal kicking, he'd be in like serious contention, but over Walsh most probably, because I'd have basically, you know, 3 fullbacks essentially that just get generally very high points, and 2 of them would be goal kickers.
Yep.
I don't know if I can trust the Cowboys like I do with the Eagles at the moment or something like that. But he could be a massive pod, I think. You know, like last season when so many like people picked Tedesco and he just went flying, and everyone that didn't have him just was left behind.
Yep.
I don't see that with Drinkwater, but I mean, if Cowboys prove everyone wrong because everyone's expecting them to be worse, yeah, it could be something that makes people sort of get behind quickly.
There are a couple of really good questions that I want to answer that were in here earlier. We got Haggy that says, any love for Liam Martin, price well, and should see a lot more traffic down his edge. He's at that low 400 mark, and his sprinting coach has been DMing me quite a bit because he pulled me up because I said
sprinting coach.
And he's got a sprinting coach. He's been getting a sprinting coach in the offseason, and he's been saying that he reckons Martin is in for a massive year. Only scored 2 tries last year, but he's working with him and looks really, really good. We got in contact because I got the sprinting coach's name wrong earlier in the year.
Okay.
And he hit me up and said, oh, just by the way, he's training with me, not the other guy. So he's a legend. He plays SuperCoach, so he's been really helpful with giving me a bit of info here and there. But yeah, I think what he loves is Liam Martin. He reckons he's going to have a lot more attacking stats this year.
I feel, man, I just can't trust like too many Panthers players yet. I feel like they need to settle in with this whole Blaze scenario. Also, the injury that Cleary's come off. I don't know. I actually think, you know who I think from the Panthers that could be a sneaky is Sorensen or Lindsay Smith. But yeah, I think they're just a wait and see, to be honest with you. I just can't do it when, like, what's Liam Martin's price?
It's like 430.
And is he dual or just 2 RF? Right?
Just
436, is he?
About that, yeah.
That's pretty low. Would you rather go Hosking or Liam Martin?
Oh,
that's a tough one, right?
I think Hosking, like 80K helps a lot at this time of year. You're just sipping that Fanta.
It's like Hydrolite. It's another version of Hydrolite, mate. There's been a lot of talk about Hosking, and his ownership's just been going up through the roof because of the lineup.
Hosking's a SuperCoach player. He averaged 90 in his first 3 rounds before he got injured last year, so he's a really good option. I think 80K is worth a lot, and if Liam Martin can have a resurgent year, then it's probably a decent kind of thing to look at. For me, he's someone that if he scores 55 in the first 2 weeks, then I'll look at him. But then I want to see attacking stats after that. We got Reese here. Thoughts on Emre Gula? Looked very good in the trials. He's worth 330K in that front row. So, you know.
How did he go in the trials? Are there actual numbers of that? Does anyone have that, or yourself?
Yeah, let me get that. Let me get
he's the FRF for St. George, right?
Yes, 330K. I think people might be a bit turned off him because of Clemmer potentially coming to the club. But he looked really good. He looked really good. And I've got his stats up right now. Gula, 54 points. 54 points. He had a line break assist, 29 post-contact meters, 12 runs, and 19 tackles. I'd love to see how many minutes he played.
They don't put that on the Fox Sports thing, right? The minutes.
No. So what they do on the Fox Sports in trials, they don't put amount of minutes played. They don't put. They don't count if your runs are over 8 meters. So pretty much.
So the most simple stat they can put, they don't put, but everything else they basically do.
And offloads, they don't put effective. And I wonder if he had any offloads. It doesn't even say here. So he had 12 runs. He would have got 12 points for that, but he's potentially 12 points underscored just based on that. So he could have got a 66. And without line break assist, that is a 58, which.
I mean, if you had the money, is it better to get rid of Val Mulga, drop Hess or Clark down, and then get him into your FRF. Like I have 80,000 free, and in my head now I'm thinking, do I just stick with Clark, who I think is going to get more minutes and be more effective, trade out Val Morga, drop Aaron Clark, and just get Aaron in?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
This is what the chat does to people like us. They throw curveballs and then they stick to me.
Yes. Yeah. I think I'm going to get him in my side. I like to look. I didn't realize he scored that much. He is quite a super coach player. Let's look at him.
Question. And sorry, my knowledge on this is a bit poor, but is he a new signing, or has he just not gotten minutes? Where did he come from?
Yeah, he came from the Raiders. He didn't get minutes at the Raiders. So let's look at his minutes. So when he played over 45 minutes, do you want 45 minutes or 40 minutes as a measure?
Just go. Just give me.
Okay, so over 40 minutes, he averaged probably 35 minutes throughout the year, maybe a bit less, but 40 minutes, scores of 40 in 41 minutes. He had a 45-minute game for 42. He had a 53-minute game for 45. And that was
base? How does this? He had base at 42 in 45 minutes?
Yeah. And like the way he's getting his points, the 42 he scored, 31 points in tackles.
He's in.
Yeah, he's in for me.
He's in. That's ridiculous.
That was a curly one, Reese. Reese, shout out. I've actually got a SuperCoach NRL ball fresh in the packet to give away. So that's for you. That's for you.
Reese. If I knew you in real life, mate, you'd be getting some drinks at the bar for free for me. But so just so everyone knows, I'm just taking Val Malga out. I'm dropping Hessel Clark, doesn't matter, and then he comes in.
And now that gives you a bit of flexibility in between 2RF and front row. So you've not only got someone in Gulo who has quite a bit of depth, you've now got flexibility in both positions now in case you need it. So Reese, reach out either on Instagram, which is right here below, or you can just email the supercoachexperience@gmail.com. Maybe take a screenshot of your YouTube profile too, so we don't have multiple people emailing.
So the Clemmer thing, he's 100% left the team, and is he 100% going to Dragons, or?
I think it's likely, but it hasn't gone through yet. So I think we'll get at least 2 or 3 rounds out of Gula without Clemmer. But yeah.
Okay. I mean, if he does go, he's playing 20 to 30 minutes max, right? There's no way.
Clemmer won't play massive minutes, especially coming in just all of a sudden. Braden Barnes, I like the team so far, so shout out to Braden, liking your team. I do like this question here, Leighton. Any love for Stone Street instead of Lehigh? Stone Street at 500K.
Yeah, I just think his price was a bit too high. That's all. Yep. Just scary, right? I actually asked this exact same question in our chat because I was like, wait, who's taking Katoa's spot? Like, aren't they just going to get, isn't this guy just going to get fed? But as soon as I saw the price tag, I'd just rather put that type of money into a Lucas where I'm kind of like guaranteed, well, not guaranteed, but you know, there's evidence, there's information there of what I'm kind of getting. And Stone Street kind of has a small sample size and it's just a bit more scarier. I also think he's playing right wing, right?
Yeah, he's playing on Hines' side, which is a gold mine.
Yeah, but Hines one game can go 40 and then the next he can go 110 and they're versing Penrith. I don't know. I feel like it's a wait and see, right?
Yeah. He scored 8 tries in 5 games last year. When Katoa was in the side, he averaged Katoa averaged 63 with Hines and 48 without him. So there's a 15-point difference without Hines in the side. Stone Street scored 8 tries in 5 games last year, so he's inflated on what he actually can be priced at. So I think we're going to wait and see what his actual metric is at, because if he scores 8 tries in 5 games, as Grant said on Tuesday, he's probably the best winger of all time if he keeps that up. So
it's scary though, right? Like to go someone at that price just because they've taken over like someone who got injured. I don't know. I mean, I'm going Hopewadi, right? So I can't be saying that's a bad shout. I'm going for my own pod. And what's his ownership at? I'm very
Who?
curious.
Who?
Stone Street.
It would be close to nothing. Let me get it
Yeah,
up. But we
right.
do have another question. Just
Fire
while
away, boys. Let's get these questions going.
I've got to catch up because there's still heaps from before. Lachlan Morley, is there any centre winger over 700k worth taking early, especially since Carraz is out? I've kind of found this issue as well. I've looked at Holmes, Lomax. I think Herbie's a pretty good one. I don't know how the Dolphins are going to perform, but I'm looking at all these guys, and I don't think they scream that you must have them in your side at that price. I think they're going to perform well, but I don't know. Now with Carraz out, I'm a bit worried about the upside in centre wing, to be honest.
I think the only one, it's either Lomax or Holmes. I'd be very scared to go Farnworth, but again, Dolphins most probably have the more friendlier draw opening out of all those three. There's a lot of points there. I'm so scared. I've talked to you about this. I'm so scared for this Dolphins versus Souths game with Herbie and Hammer, and it just could be a wide open bloodbath, and you're just like, whoa. So yeah, that's one thing. And these are the type of plays you can make where you just get ahead of the pack, and it's like, wow. But no, I think there's not enough upside there. I think Lomax is going to need some time. Holmes is the cool play, even though I hate his defense. Dragons have shown that they're a bit better.
Yeah.
And I just think obviously he's a goal kicker as well. So yeah, I mean, no for me, but yeah.
I reckon Flanagan gets the defense back into him. I don't know what he does, but Flanagan is a guy that makes you play for your side, and I think he'll get the defense out of him. Sam Stone Street, let me blow your mind right now. So he's the 39th most owned center wing at 3.8%. He's owned more. He's more owned than Isaac Tungo at 3.7%. He is more owned than AJ Brimson at 3.3%.
Okay, that is insane. The AJ Brimson one.
He's more owned than Ronaldo Mulitalo at 2.6. He's more owned than Dom Young at 2.5. He's I could just keep going, to be honest.
Chat's about to make me change my whole team. I can't do it, but geez, you've got balls if you do it and it comes off right.
I don't know. It'd probably be worse if it'd probably be better if he was less owned, to be honest. But I think I think if anything, AJ Brimson looks way more attractive at the ownership at 3.3%.
Yeah.
Right. Let's go. So Kinney flying under drug. Okay. Corey Anti's real estate. Thoughts on Blake Brayley as hooker number one?
I like it a lot.
He was someone who I've been very keen on, and I think he's going to be really, really good this year. But with the amount of cheapies available at hooker, I can't do it.
I like it just in a sense of what you see is what you get. There might be a tiny bit of upside to it because the AFB, because the more crush players. I wouldn't read into that as much. They are going to be attacking more, I think, because their forward pack's going to roll even harder. And I think for memory, Brayley's 513k or something around that. Would you rather go Brayley over a JMK? Most probably. It's just if you do want to spend that much more in a position where most of the competition are going to be just going cheapy, is that going to really gain you the value when Brayley's likely to get like 50 to 55 points and maybe Crossland gets you like 40 at worst in a sense, or 35? Is that 20-point differential really worth it in a case of 150,000 or something like that? I don't know. I don't think so.
What about KO Weeks at 6, says Lucas Borg? I actually don't mind him. I think his base is very low at 25. I like how he's available at 5'8" as a fullback, but I think
for me, if I'm going for another pod, I'm going Fletcher Sharp.
Yeah. Don't mind that.
I know that's a bit different, but like KO Weeks is kind of a pod play. When I was watching the Knights game, whenever something was happening, Fletcher Sharp was in it. And I think he's mostly the biggest watch for me in the season in the first 3 rounds is Fletcher Sharp, because if he pops off with a friendly draw for the Knights that is points friendly, I think a lot of people will be scrambling to get him. And I'm very, very close to actually having him in my team, to be honest.
Yep. What else have we got? Okay.
I think, can I just say one more thing? I think the play that KO Weeks did in the trial where he did that crazy run from everyone was like, oh my God. Yep. Like it kind of baited a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't want to read into that. It was an amazing play, but I don't think you're going to see that every game, right? So just, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I think he's got it in him, to be honest. I think might surprise you.
Okay.
All right. We got another question here. Luke Easton, who is your sneaky pod? Mine's Ali Leotawa. Guess what? Same. Samesies.
So is Ali left side with RTS or right side with Tuapiki?
Right side with Tuapiki and on Luke Metcalf's side.
Yeah, see, this is where my Tuapiki tingles start happening. You know how big I've been on this guy. Like,
yeah. He's 450K too.
Oh, I know, man. But back to Ali, yes, I actually do think he could be a very, very good play. And anyone that says I've gone him as like a bit of a pod play, respect to you, because again, that could be the type of things that you're getting extra, like ownership 5%. 2024 average of 58 from 6 matches at 513,000. Whoa.
Yep.
It's just crazy when you say those numbers, right?
Adam Quinn, is there a player you wish you could get in your side but just can't afford it? I think this is a fair question because we've got our team builds and obviously there's probably been someone throughout the year who we probably can't afford but have wanted. Mine, for me, Jack Williams. I'm very keen on Jack Williams. Didn't get the draw with the updates. I did suggest to SuperCoach that Jack Williams should have been front row. He didn't get it, but Jack Williams is one for me.
I just think it's like, for me, it's mostly like the really expensive 2RFs that I just don't want to go to, or just you have them in your team. Like, I've had Eli Katoa in my team a lot, and every time I like get that extra 100K from going down from him to Preston, it's like, oh, this feels nice. But I like really want him in my team as well. So I would most probably go with something like that. I'm really big on Katoa. My take is I think he will be the highest point scoring 2RF of the season.
Eli Katoa?
Mm-hmm.
Nice one. Josh Tabake, Turbo Hopper and Garrick is ballsy. Might be a thought to sell Turbo, move Walsh up and play Hines in the flex.
If I did do anything there, I'm just going to sell Hopawati and go to like Tuapiki or RTS. That's my play. So yeah,
I like it. And last one, Luca Easton. What do you think about Fletcher Sharp?
I actually really like him. His defense worries me.
Yep.
But like, I feel like his attacking side compared to his defense, when they get going, that left side was getting fed so crazy with Fletcher Sharp and like Ponga linking. It's actually quite scary. And I actually think finally the Knights have got something right in the halves combo, and that's Fletcher Sharp being there. So it'll be a great wait and watch, to be honest with you. But I think, yeah.
I don't know if I was speaking to you earlier in the year about it when the news first came out, but I actually liked it from the get-go just because I think Ponga, they've relied on Ponga so much. Put another firecracker in the halves so Ponga isn't the only one that's looked at when they run a backline play. So I like it. I think it's going to work, and maybe the Knights overachieve this year. Greg Marju season, right?
Yeah, I just can't.
I'll tell you what.
I just want to ask you one other thing. Do you think Asako, I'm going off a question also, but Asako at 10% ownership with the Dolphins opening draw is unders or overs for that ownership, especially like them versing Souths first into, let's look here, Knights into West Tigers. Oh man, it's just scary. I know he's got his floor is super like low, but man, when he's kicking and he gets one try, it's just like a big score from him. So it's kind of scary.
I think it depends where their centers are named. If Herbie Farmworth is named at center and Jack Bostock is also named at center, it'll mean Jack Bostock will play left and Herbie will play right alongside Azarko. Yep. If Avarillo's named at 6 and Herbie's on the left. Oh, actually, sorry. If Avarillo's named at center and Herbie's named at center, Avarillo will play right. So
I think Bostock is injured.
No, he's all right. He's good to go.
From 3 days ago, it says that he's missing the first few rounds, but I think maybe that has changed. But yeah,
is that in the SuperCoach notes?
No, in the casualty ward, it literally says Bostock is due back round 3.
Oh, interesting. That's a massive watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, thank you for jumping on and sharing your team. I think it's a lot better than the first time. Although I thought the first time it was a pretty good build for that time of year. So it was always going to change.
Great. Yes,
it was always going to change. But you've got more time now to look into it because you're at home with the baby.
Yes, sir.
So hopefully you get to study a bit more over the next couple of days and you get to watch a lot of footy over the weekend.
Yeah. I'll end this with a Lehigh Hopewadi, 3% ownership. Watch this space.
What's he going to average this year?
I literally think he's going to be like 65, 70.
Nice.
Maybe 65. I'm going to say 65, but I'm hoping for him to put up some really big numbers in like the first 3. That's all.
Nice. I think it's a great pod to start the year.
Thank you so much, Brandon.
No, thank you. Thank you. Thanks for coming on. We've been pumping out the content this week, so I'm ready for bed. So
all right, brother.
We'll see you in a couple of days. We've got a few more team reveals. Mine's dropping tomorrow.
Oh, we've got a draft in 3 minutes.
Are
you not in it?
I'm not in it.
Oh, shit. I forgot about it.
Bro, it's a 20-man draft. Do you know how long that's going to take?
Oops.
20 men.
Oh, it's at round 9. Oh, God. I forgot.
Oh, you missed
it. All right. See you, brother.
All right. See you later.
All right.
Oh, my God.